you're joining us for the first time, I'm Andy. Today we are going to embark on a whole new series. We're scrapping this shit box and robbing the 580cc Artic Cat two-stroke out of it, and we're going to be putting it in a drag mower. So stay tuned. It should be a pretty cool build, and we'll get after it. You move, dude. Get out of the way. Out of the way. Okay. That's a speedometer cable. Now, those are just gauges. Do not believe we need any of that for running. Let's be sure. So we don't need that. Might as well, as I unplug things, determine what is necessary for this engine's operation. I don't think it's terribly complicated. It's a very crude EFI system, so not much to it as far as I can tell. Do I want a speedometer? Is the other question. That is a mechanical speedometer. Do I want to salvage that all the way up to 100 mphs? Let's just unscrew that and we'll keep it as a just in case. Simple enough to take it with the engine. Okay. Hood is free. Out of the way. Let's get you in for a closer look. Probably pull the exhaust next. Not too terrible. Had one more bolt right there in that mount, and then one right there, one right there, and there. Come right out. Oh, a guy missed one. Okay, well, I did a little more off camera here. Guess I'll just catch you up on previous activities here. Went ahead and removed our throttle as well as a kill switch from the handlebars. Got the seat and the tank removed, and got a little bit better access to kind of see what's going on here. I was trying to figure out the whole intake on it, how this intake box was set in here. That's what I'm going to try to get after next, I'm thinking. Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't think there's much holding this thing in here. It looks like right there is a motor mount, and then up here off the starter is a mount. There's another mount right there, and I'm going to go ahead and assume
There's probably another one hiding in this mess of wires back here. That's yet to be seen. So looking into this air box from the backside, the inlet, if you will, focus, we can see the back of the two carburetors, and it would appear that they just slide right into that box. I'm thinking that's probably the case, and I'm hoping it is. I'm going to leave that box in this. There's no need to take it out. We're not using it. So if I can pull the motor without trying to figure out how to get that stupid thing out of the way, great. We do have our ignition coil mounted to the top of it, so I'll go ahead and unscrew that. I do have some sort of sensor into the air box, actually. What's it look like? Can we see on the other side there? Interesting. I don't know if that's mass airflow, maybe? I think it's gotta be. Okay. We'll figure it out. Well, I got that air box out. Pretty much through brute force with a pry bar. Didn't have any screws or anything retaining it. I said that might have been a mass airflow. Well, that was dumb. It wasn't in the venturi of either of these carburetors. How would that be a mass airflow? Absolutely an intake air temp sensor. It's looking a hell of a lot more manageable without all this plastic crap in the way. I think from here, need to get the oil reservoir as well as this coolant overflow out of here. Probably take the PCM out and see where we're at with the whole jack shaft, what it's looking like over on this side. I do see that we have our brake disc as well as the caliper. On further investigation here, I'm going to try to pull the engine with the primary clutch separate from the secondary and the jack shaft. It's also probably pretty important at this point that I get an accurate measurement on my clutch spacing, primary to secondary, and I'm just going to go center to center of each clutch, if that makes sense. Looks like we're probably damn near a foot exactly is going to get us right where we need to be. There's going to be enough play in that belt where it's not going to matter. I may do, we'll call it 12 and an eighth. 12 and 1/8 inches for our spacing. So I'll get that belt off and we'll start unplugging everything else here. So one thing about having an EFI engine, I did realize that I kept calling these things carburetors. These are not carburetors, it's fuel injected, dummy. These are throttle bodies. See the injector? There's no reason you'd have an intake air temp on a carbureted engine, right? Duh. Whatever. Yeah, we got all kinds of crap to unhook, and we'll just put labels on everything. And then we're going to try to unbolt at least the 3 mounts that I do see and see if that's all that's holding it in. Maybe we'll be able to lift it out of there. That'd be nice. Man, there's a lot of shit going on in this motor. So, bottom of the left or driver's side, if you will, throttle body, focus, has that hose barb right there. That goes to a T, this hose, and the lower rad hose, or cooler hose. There's no radiator on it, it's a snow machine. You get the idea. Well, we got enough going on this side of the engine as far as electrical goes that it's definitely a good idea to go ahead and document it. So let's work on that. We got a ground bulkhead here, side of the clutch housing. Looks like we got 3 brown wires, 1 black wire. And actually, in order to keep those together, it's not a bad idea to just go ahead and zip tie them together. Let's do that. We have these two, whatever they are. Who knows? Someone out there does, but it ain't me. I need a pocket pry bar. These little tiny connectors. So the inside one is a green with a white tracer and a brown wire, 2-wire connector. And it goes to a white and a black. Okay, the outboard side, it's a white with a black tracer and a brown. Stuff like this is important because it does appear that these can be plugged in either way. That brown rather, and the white with the black tracer plug into a, what do we got? Brown and a white, solid white. Again, that was the outside connector. This is kill switch stuff to the stator. I'm going to assume being yellow wires. So we have, yeah, it's absolutely typical textbook stator wire coloring. We have yellow with a red tracer, solid yellow, and additional yellow with a red tracer. So 2 yellow with a red tracer, 1 solid yellow, and 1 brown wire. I'm gonna go ahead and unplug that guy. Maybe. And that goes to, looks like 2 browns, and 3 solid yellows and 1 yellow with a red tracer, I do believe. It doesn't look like we have many of those regardless, so. Looks like our battery ground mounts to the back of the flywheel housing here. Call that the clutch housing. It's definitely where the flywheel's housed. It's where the stator's housed. Yeah, that's what that guy is. Let's see if we can fish this through. Well, Could have made the hole slightly bigger, you stunned retards. Okay, I guess we'll lop an end off of that. At least we'll keep most of that battery ground now, because that's good cable. Cable's expensive. Okay, that one's out. We have our positive. It goes from the solenoid. Get a view of that. This lug on the solenoid, so far left, goes straight to the starter motor, right there. Blip. I'm going to go ahead and just cut that. Not going to bother unbolting that. We'll cut it somewhat close to it so we could put a new end on it and use it. And you might notice that that motor's not sitting in there how it originally was. It did have 4 mounts, and I unbolted all 4 of them and kind of pulled the motor up and backwards or rearwards so I could get the belt off a little easier. So it's just kind of chilling down in there, and it's just held up by all its wires and bullshit right now, but okay. It's just so crazy how they have all this junk routed and squeezed in here. It's so hard to tell what you're even touching. So we have our oil supply line down to the oil injection pump. Down here on the bottom of the oil reservoir. What do I want to do with that? Because I don't want to just lose all that oil necessarily. I'm probably gonna have to drain it. You know, I don't know, I haven't priced it out, but it does say something about, I don't know if this is exclusive to 2-stroke snow machines or what. Like I said, I'm not at all familiar with them, but it does say use Artic Cat 50-to-1 injection oil only. Is there different grades of injection or different grades of 2-stroke oil that I'm unfamiliar with? Kind of assuming that might be the case, so definitely be something to look into, you know, further down the road, but right now I'm not too awfully worried about it. There's just so much shit in here. So we have another line from that T in our lower rad hose that goes up to the bottom of the coolant reservoir. Let's just nip that. And that's not even necessary right now. It's just going to help me kind of fold this upper hose up out of the way a little easier. So we have another decent sized connector here. Let's go with a black with a red tracer, a green with a red tracer, and a brown with a white tracer on machine side. And it will go into, if I can get all this damn tape off. It's like a green, brown, and black. And those are actually a fabric insulation on those wires. Interesting. So we zip tied our ground pack together. The stator grounds are part of that. So actually I'm going to cut that. And that's our stator grounds are going to ground in the same location. Simple enough. And I'll just re-zip tie those, what, 2 or 3 other grounds back together. I guess it's only 2. It's an additional brown on the vehicle side and the black one. Because those 2 brown for the stator are going to stay on the engine, right? And you know, in theory, there's no reason I couldn't just put them right back where they were. Stack them up like so. Damn hose is really starting to piss me off. Along with the neighbors' little ankle biting dogs that just sit over there and yap all day. For whatever reason can't be helped but to give their dog some attention. So we have our oil supply. We have another one right here. I gotta figure out where it's going. And that might be it. Wouldn't that be nice? So, what was I looking at over there? So that's oil. This guy right here, which goes up to the bottom of the, looks like a thermostat housing me. Snow machines have thermostats, or is it just open loop? I don't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and imagine that's likely a temp sensor. How does it go on there? Any ideas? Got a zip tie there I need to cut. It's gumming up the works. Okay, so it has 2 bullet connectors further up. Looks like they match side to side. It's a blue with a white tracer and a brown. Got those unplugged. Got that moved there. That's absolutely just a temp sensor. Okay, that's up out of the way. I think, just maybe, we're left with just our oil supply line, and that's it. Let's see if I can refrain from making an enormous mess and maybe get a cap on it. I can find a cap that is about the right size, like that guy right there, maybe. Maybe that guy. Maybe Should have something to cap it. Has a kind of a mixture of hose clamps on this machine, I've noticed. Sure, it's been fiddle fucked with over the years, but it's got a whole lot of those crappy plastic deals that they give you with fuel pumps, EFI pumps. Junk. Not my favorite. Hey, we're gonna cut it. That looks like straight motor oil. Doesn't even look like two-stroke oil. Weird. It's capped. Should probably put a hose clamp on that in all reality. We'll just put their crappy clamp back in there. How about that? Might not be quite big enough, actually. Good enough. I think it might be ready to come out. See if I can pick it up out of there. Ooh. Well, how about our fuel supply? It's still wrapped up in here. And we got, okay, almost there, not quite. Our ignition coil, white wire on the coil, black wire on the coil. White wire goes to a white with blue tracer, black wire goes to a black with a white tracer. Then I'll come back to our CDI box down there. Now let's give her a rip. Ow. Oh. Goodness. I think they make these things lighter. Done a mischief here. Oh, that's a nasty fuel. Okay, so we have another fuel line, looks like a return off the bottom of the regulator. For reference, I'll take you over there and show you. For reference, our return right here originally went to this line on the pump. This line was our supply. Now that we've cleared that up, oops, if I don't drop you on the floor first, let's snip that, and I think it'll come right out then, by the look of things. Tell you what though, I feel bad for any guys back in the late 90s working on this junk. It's horrible. It's a horrendous pile of shit. I don't know why I'm doing it, but that's just how I do things. Most of the time I don't know why the hell I'm doing things. I just do it. Oh yeah, that's super light. Still got bullshit plugged in or something here. Our injectors. Okay, those have to be unplugged. Injectors, and then the harness is zip tied to the rail here. So we'll snip a zip tie. I need a pocket pry bar here.
We'll unplug the injectors. Then maybe. It's getting closer. Definitely getting closer. One of them. It smells like a nice vintage fuel. I love that smell. Vintage gas. Delicious. Okay, so well, it is labeled 1. So, and this is flywheel side, that would make sense. Cylinder 1, cylinder 2. There you go. What else was I looking at? We had over here, this guy. We have one other connector here. Goes into, looks like a throttle position on cylinder 1 or throttle body, not carburetor, dumbass. It is a red, white, and black on both sides of the connector. Unplugged. Heave ho. Here we go. Jesus. Nope, something else. Another stupid fucking temp sensor. Jesus. Luckily, we're not stretching the temp sensor, we're stretching a zip tie that was holding the harness up. What in the fuck? 2 zip ties? Ooh. Shit. Okay, that's just a 1-wire bullet red white tracer. All right, coming out. Little bastard's heavier than it looks. There you have it.